Good evening and welcome to Sabha TV. My name is Aditi Nagpal Girotra and you're watching News Tonight, where we bring you news updates from India and around the world. Before we go ahead, let's quickly take a look at the headlines. IAF gets new bird in its arsenal, inducts 5 Rafales into Golden Arrows Squadron. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh calls it a stern message for those eyeing India's sovereignty. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launches Matsya Sampada Yojana, a flagship scheme to promote sustainable development of fishery sector. Marketplace and information portal eGopala app also launched for farmers. After NDA names JDU MP Harivansh as its candidate, UPA to back RJD MP Professor Manoj Kumar Jha for post of Deputy Chairman in Rajya Sabha. Last date for filing nominations is Friday, election to be held on 14th of September. Biggest one-day rise in COVID cases and deaths, 95,735 new cases and 1,172 deaths reported in the last 24 hours. Centre asks all states and union territories to mandatorily retest symptomatic negative cases of rapid antigen tests through RT-PCR. And Vice President M Venkaiah Naidu addresses 21st Foundation Day of Swami Vivekananda Institute of Human Excellence through video conference, calls for disciplined and focused efforts to achieve excellence in education. Five Rafale jets were formally inducted into the Indian Air Force on Thursday. A glittering ceremony was held at Ambala, attended by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh.
A traditional Sarva Dharma Puja, followed by a ceremonial water cannon salute, an aerial display of breathtaking maneuvers and the Sarang aerobatic team's welcome marked the induction of the first batch of 5 Rafale fighter jets into the 17th Squadron of the Indian Air Force. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, his French counterpart Florence Parly, Chief of Defence Staff General Bipin Rawat and Air Chief Marshal R.K.S. Bhadoria attended the mega ceremony in Ambala. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh described it as a historic moment for India's defence. Coming against the backdrop of a tense border standoff with China, Rajnath Singh said, the induction of Rafale is a stern message for the entire world, especially those threatening our sovereignty.
साथियों, आज इनका इंडक्शन पूरी दुनिया, खासकर हमारी संप्रभुता की ओर उठी निगाहों के लिए एक बड़ा और कड़ा संदेश है। हमारी सीमाओं पर जिस तरह का माहौल हाल के दिनों में बना है, या मैं सीधा कहूं कि बनाया गया है, उनके लिहाज से यह इंडक्शन बहुत ही अहम है। यह अपनी सीमाई सुरक्षा और क्षेत्रीय अखंडता को बनाए रखने के लिए सरकार की कमिटमेंट का भी एक बड़ा उदाहरण प्रस्तुत करता है।
Air Chief Marshal R.K.S. Bhadoria said the timing of the induction couldn't have been better considering the security scenario facing India today.
17th Squadron of Air Force, the Golden Arrows, are singularly blessed to be equipped with this platform. So this formal induction ceremony today also marks the operational induction of this aircraft into the Indian Air Force. They are good to go and deliver.
French Minister Florence Parly described the induction of Rafale into the Indian Air Force as the beginning of a new chapter in India-France ties.
As you may know, Rafale literally means gust of wind in French if you aim at being poetic. or burst of fire if you think more of the battlefield. Both meanings express an incredible strength. And I like to think that this is also a symbol of the strong ties between our two countries.
The first batch of 5 Rafale jets arrived in India on the 29th of July, nearly 4 years after India signed an intergovernmental agreement with France to procure 36 aircraft for 59,000 crore rupees. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Before the induction ceremony, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh spoke briefly to his French counterpart, Florence Parly, on ways to increase bilateral defence cooperation. The talks took place at Palam Air Force Station soon after the French minister arrived on a day-long visit to participate in the Rafale induction ceremony. The French Defence Minister was also given a ceremonial guard of honour at the airport. Later in the day, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval also met the French Defence Minister. The talks were held at Hyderabad House in New Delhi and were focused on ways to enhance the overall strategic ties between the two countries. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana through video conferencing on Thursday. He also inaugurated the e-Gopala app along with several initiatives linked to studies and research in fisheries production, dairy, animal husbandry and agriculture in Bihar. Here is a detailed report.
Launching the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said the motive behind these schemes is to empower villages and make India self-reliant in the 21st century. The Matsya Sampada Yojana is being launched in 21 states with an investment of 20,000 crore rupees that will be spent over the next 4 to 5 years. Projects worth 1,700 crore rupees were launched by the Prime Minister on Thursday. This is the highest investment so far in the fisheries sector. It is aimed at increasing fish production by 70 lakh ton by 2024-25.
ब्लू रिवॉल्यूशन यानी मछली पालन से जुड़े काम, व्हाइट रिवॉल्यूशन यानी डेयरी से जुड़े काम, स्वीट रिवॉल्यूशन यानी शहद उत्पादन से जुड़े काम हमारे गांवों को और समृद्ध और सशक्त करें। प्रधानमंत्री मत्स्य संपदा योजना इसी लक्ष्य को ध्यान में रखकर बनाई गई है। आज देश के 21 राज्यों में इस योजना का शुभारंभ हो रहा है। अगले 4-5 वर्षों में इस पर 20,000 करोड़ रुपए से ज्यादा खर्च किए जाएंगे। इसमें से आज 1,700 करोड़ रुपए का काम शुरू हो रहा है।
On the e-Gopala app, the Prime Minister said it will be a digital medium that will help farmers to choose superior livestock. He added that the app will give all information related to productivity, health and diet to the cattle owners.
पशुओं की अच्छी नस्ल के साथ ही उनकी देखरेख और उसको लेकर सही वैज्ञानिक जानकारी भी उतनी ही जरूरी होती है। इसके लिए भी बीते सालों से निरंतर टेक्नोलॉजी का उपयोग किया जा रहा है। इसी कड़ी में आज ई गोपाला ऐप शुरू किया गया है। ई गोपाला ऐप एक ऐसा ऑनलाइन डिजिटल माध्यम होगा जिससे पशुपालकों को उन्नत पशुधन को चुनने में आसानी होगी, उनको बिचौलियों से मुक्ति मिलेगी। ये ऐप पशुपालकों को उत्पादकता से लेकर उसके स्वास्थ्य और आहार से जुड़ी तमाम जानकारियां देगा।
Prime Minister Modi also informed that under the PM Kisan Samman Nidhi scheme, money has been directly transferred to the bank accounts of over 10 crore farmers. Nearly 75 lakh of these are from Bihar. He said so far about 6,000 crore rupees have been deposited in the bank accounts of farmers from the state. The Prime Minister also appealed to people to maintain precautionary measures during the coronavirus pandemic and cautioned them not to take the pandemic lightly. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Various opposition parties have decided to field RJD leader Manoj Jha as their joint candidate for the September 14th election of the Rajya Sabha Deputy Chairman. The RJD MP is expected to file his nomination papers on Friday in the presence of leaders of several opposition parties. Jha will contest against NDA's nominee Harivansh of the JDU. Harivansh was the Rajya Sabha Deputy Chairman till his previous term was over. He has since been re-elected from Bihar. As per news reports, a new number of opposition leaders, including Leader of Opposition in Rajya Sabha, Ghulam Nabi Azad, Congress Deputy Leader Anand Sharma, Congress's Chief Whip in Rajya Sabha, Jairam Ramesh, and others from TMC, left parties, DMK, AAP, and some other parties will accompany Manoj Jha while filing his nomination papers for the post on Friday. The Lok Sabha will have 18 sittings in all during the monsoon session. Speaker Om Birla said that all arrangements have been made so that members can follow social distancing norms and other COVID-19 protocols. He also praised members that in the intervening period between sessions and despite the pandemic, they participated in 91 committee meetings.
Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla on Thursday gave details about the preparations being made for the upcoming monsoon session of Parliament. He said that members will mark their own attendance through a dedicated mobile app, which will work only when they are inside the Parliament premises. While on the first day on September 14th, Lok Sabha will sit in the morning from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. All the other days, it will meet in the evening from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. On September 13th, the Business Advisory Committee will meet to finalize matters related to the functioning of the House. This will replace the normal all-party meeting. Members will be seated in 3 different places to ensure social distancing: 257 in the Lok Sabha chamber, 172 in the visitors' galleries, and the rest in the Rajya Sabha chamber. There will be no question hour, while the 0 hour would be of half an hour duration. However, questions and answers will be tabled on the floor of the House. Members will submit their questions through the digital mode.
हम अधिकतम विधायी कार्य और ज्वलंत मुद्दों पर चर्चा कर सकें, इसके लिए शनिवार रविवार को भी सत्र होगा। ये सत्र एक विपरीत परिस्थितियों में हो रहा है, इसलिए इसके व्यापक इंतजाम भी किए और सामाजिक दूरी से सभी मान्य सदस्य बैठते हुए अपनी बात को कह सकें, उसके भी व्यापक इंतजाम किए गए हैं।
The monsoon session of Parliament in 2020 is going to be quite unique. This will be the first time in Indian history, Indian parliamentary history, that members of Lok Sabha can also sit in Rajya Sabha, and members of Rajya Sabha will also sit in Lok Sabha other than their respective houses. Journalists will also be sitting in their respective press galleries, but their numbers will be reduced. But the most important thing, that amidst this pandemic and panic situation, the constitutional duty of Parliament is going to be fulfilled, and there are hopes that it will be very positive. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha Television in Delhi.
And now a look at the COVID-19 situation in the country. India reported its highest increase in cases and also deaths on Thursday morning. India has been reporting the highest number of daily coronavirus cases in the world for nearly a month.
India reported 95,735 new coronavirus cases and 1,172 deaths in the last 24 hours. This is the biggest one-day rise in cases and deaths in the country. Total infections are now over 44,65,000. Of these, 34,71,000 patients have recovered, giving a recovery rate of 77.7%. However, at 9.19 lakh, active cases are also rising. Total deaths have now crossed 75,062. Maharashtra, the most affected state, recorded 23,577 cases in 24 hours, the highest in the country. The state also registered the highest number of deaths with 380 fatalities. Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh and Tamil Nadu are the 4 other worst hit states in the country. 60% cases are reported from 5 states. Maharashtra alone has contributed more than 23,000 cases, while Andhra Pradesh has contributed over 10,000 cases. Maharashtra has over 2.5 lakh active cases, while Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh have 1 lakh active cases each. Cases are also increasing once again in the national capital. Delhi on Wednesday saw a record surge with more than 4,000 cases, the highest since the outbreak reached Delhi. Delhi is now the second city after Pune to have over 2 lakh infected people. West Bengal, Bihar, Telangana and Odisha are the other states with maximum caseload in the country. Odisha is reporting over 3,000 cases every day for the last 3 weeks. The state has now overtaken Assam in total cases and is the fastest growing amongst the top 10 states. 69% deaths so far are concentrated in 5 states: Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Delhi and Andhra Pradesh. While case fatality rate is falling consistently at all India level, the trend is worrying in Punjab, Tamil Nadu, Uttarakhand, Chhattisgarh, Kerala and Assam. Over 5 crore 29 lakh samples have been tested so far, with 11 lakh 29,000 samples tested on Wednesday. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
India's Serum Institute has put on hold the trials of AstraZeneca's COVID-19 vaccine until the British drug maker restarts the trials. AstraZeneca paused trials of its experimental coronavirus vaccine because of an unexplained illness in a study participant. Phase 3 clinical trials at over 60 locations in the United States, Brazil and South Africa were stopped in 4 nations as a precautionary measure. AstraZeneca, which is in tie-up with the Oxford University to produce the vaccine, has said the pause is a routine one. The Union Health Ministry has asked all states and union territories to mandatorily retest all symptomatic negative cases of rapid antigen tests through RT-PCR. This is to make sure that no positive COVID-19 cases are missed. The ministry has also urged them to urgently establish a monitoring mechanism via a designated officer or team in every district and at the state level for follow-up on such cases. It has been found that in some large states, symptomatic cases tested negative by RAT are not being followed up by RT-PCR testing. The guidelines state that all symptomatic negative cases of RAT and asymptomatic cases of RAT that develop symptoms within 2 to 3 days of being tested negative must necessarily be retested through RT-PCR tests. This will ensure early detection, isolation and hospitalization of such false negative cases. Novel coronavirus cases have surpassed 28 million cases globally. The pandemic has claimed over 9 lakh lives. Over 20 million people have recovered so far.
The start of the new school year and the growing number of students joining campuses has resulted in a spike in COVID-19 infections in the United States. Several schools have temporarily shut down again or shifted to online classes after COVID-19 outbreaks. At least 51,000 infections and 60 deaths have been confirmed from over 1,000 colleges. Total cases crossed 6.5 million, even as COVID-19 deaths surpassed 1,95,000 on Wednesday in the United States. On Wednesday, China's Sinopharm started clinical trials of its potential COVID-19 vaccine in Peru. Peru has recorded over 7 lakh cases and 30,123 deaths. Sinopharm will also conduct clinical trials in other Latin American countries, including Argentina. Over 5 lakh COVID-19 cases and 10,658 deaths have been reported in Argentina so far. Russia started mass vaccination for Sputnik V vaccine on Wednesday. 40,000 volunteers will get the vaccine for free. Russia licensed the vaccine for domestic use in August. It expects to produce 1.5 to 2 million doses per month by the end of this year. Russia had 5,218 new COVID cases in the past 24 hours, raising its total tally to over 104,000. UK has reported over 2,000 cases for the fourth day in a row, taking its caseload to over 355,000. England is reimposing new restrictions on social gatherings following a spike in COVID-19 infections. In Spain, COVID-19 cases crossed 543,000 on Thursday, with the death toll touching 29,628. France reported over 8,500 COVID-19 cases, taking the nationwide tally to 344,101. Italy had 1,434 new cases in the past 24 hours. The nationwide tally has now reached 281,583, including 35,577 deaths. With mandatory face masks, Italy's schools will reopen on the 14th of September. South Korea had 156 new cases, raising its tally to 21,588, including 344 deaths. Japan had 508 new cases of coronavirus and 14 deaths on Wednesday. It now has over 73,000 cases, including 1,412 deaths. Indonesia is reimposing social restrictions in its capital city, Jakarta, after recording a daily average of more than 1,000 new cases in September. From 14 September, public transport will be limited, dining in restaurants forbidden, while working from offices will be banned. The country has reported over 2 lakh cases and 8,336 deaths.
Vice President M Venkaiah Naidu said that the pursuit of excellence must be an integral part of our education system, adding that it must be ingrained in the culture of our educational institutions. Here is a detailed report.
The Vice President on Thursday virtually addressed the 21st Foundation Day celebrations of the Vivekananda Institute of Human Excellence, Ramakrishna Mutt, Hyderabad from New Delhi. Speaking on the occasion, Vice President Naidu underscored that the cultivation of excellence takes discipline, single-minded focus and a determined effort. On the eve of the 127th anniversary of Swami Vivekananda's address at the Parliament of World's Religions, Venkaiah Naidu recalled that he had had the good fortune of speaking at the historic Art Institute of Chicago, the place where Swami Vivekananda delivered his legendary speech in 1893. He said that Swami Vivekananda told the world about the importance of the ancient Indian philosophy of Vedanta and the spirit of universality, tolerance and acceptance that underpins ancient Indian thought.
I am sure the new educational policy will facilitate India to fully realize the demographic dividend and make the country a knowledge and innovation hub in the 21st century. I am hopeful that excellence will be the guiding, overreaching principle in whatever we do. We should all try to understand what yoga is meant to be. Karmasu Kausalam, achieving high order skills and excellence. It is also what Swami Vivekananda gave as a clarion call to the youth: awake, arise, stop not till you achieve your goals.
Observing that Swami Vivekananda's teachings remain ethical edicts to the whole world even today, he urged youngsters to study his life and words and follow that message with their heart and soul. The Vice President added that he saw an imminent need to reimagine, reinvent and re-engineer the country's entire education system to effectively meet the many formidable challenges of the 21st century.
Present new education policy prepared by eminent educationalists of great knowledge that really helped to formulate proper thoughts, and now a new education policy 2020 has been placed before the country. The entire country should go through it and also understand the underlying message of the educational policy and utilize this opportunity.
Defining education as the relentless pursuit of truth and a constant endeavor to improve the human condition, Vice President Naidu said that true education must empower our children to become responsible, concerned, engaged citizens not only of India but of the world. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Vice President M Venkaiah Naidu on Thursday virtually inaugurated the 125th birth anniversary celebrations of Kavi Samrat Vishwanatha Satyanarayana. The event was organized by the Vishwanath Sahitya Peetham.
Speaking on the occasion, the Vice President described the literary genius as an embodiment of Indian culture and traditions. He added that preserving and protecting the mother tongue, Indian culture, values and the environment were the real tribute one could pay to the Telugu literary legend. Stating that Vishwanatha Satyanarayana remains the first writer to infuse the true Telugu spirit to the Ramayana, the Vice President recalled the Ramayana Kalpavriksham, the seminal work of the poet that had fetched him the prestigious Jnanpith Award.
Sri Vishwanath varu oka mahamanishi. వారు ఏ రచన అయినా సరే భారతీయ ఆత్మను ప్రతిబింబిస్తుంది. శతాధిక గ్రంథకర్తగానే కాకుండా తెలుగు సాహిత్యంలో ప్రతి ప్రక్రియను సృష్టించిన సాహితీవేత్తగా వారు కీర్తినందారు.
Pointing out that the new education policy 2020 has given priority to integrated education, Vice President Naidu stressed that the NEP 2020 at the same time is designed to equip students with skills and knowledge of international standards to meet the challenges of the 21st century.
President M Venkaiah Naidu shared the inspiring tale of warrior Queen of Kittur, Chennamma, on his social media page today.
Rani Chennamma of Kittur, a kingdom near present-day Belgaum in Karnataka, took on the British rulers after her husband died. While she fought valiantly, she was captured and imprisoned, and she died in captivity in 1829. The Vice President said her courage and determination to defeat the British inspired several other kingdoms to rise against British atrocities and put up a fight rather than becoming their slaves. The Queen will always be remembered for igniting the spark of freedom in the hearts of many men and women.
And with that, we wrap up this edition of News Tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.